Alright, so he plays e4. We played the Carocon last game. What should we play here? I guess we can play e5. See what black or what white decides to do. Alright, I'm not going to play knight f6. I really hate playing against this fried liver knight g5 stuff, even though it's probably it's probably not very clear. I'm just going to play bishop c5, I believe. Bishop e7 is also not terrible. Let's just go bishop e7. I'm kind of trying some stuff out. This probably is not the best setup in the world for black, but it's also not, bad at the same time. Alright, takes e5, knight g4. I'm just going to play... Yeah, I don't claim to be the best in the world with e5. I usually play the Sicilian exclusively. What to do here? I think I might play d6. This is probably very boring and passive, honestly. This is very boring, honestly. However, now bishop g4 is actually not that bad for me. So now my throw, of course, is knight takes d4, or taking the knight and then taking d4. I think here... I think I can just take his knight. If his queen takes, then I pick up the d4 pawn. So he has to take with his g pawn. h6 instead of bishop e7. No, that seems even more passive than it needs to be. h6 doesn't develop anything there. We want to develop stuff in the opening for the most part. Okay, so he's got a busted kingside pawn structure. I think we're just going to go knight h5, bishop g5. We're going to work on trading off this bishop so that I can play knight f4. This is an awesome square for the knight. And then there's also, like, queenside, or I'm sorry, kingside attack ideas going on in the position. So what's he do? Queen b3. Okay, not a bad move at all. He's hitting f7 and b7. I think we just castle. I'm not, if he picks up the pawn on b7, I'm not, super sad about it. I think I can actually play knight a5 here. Knight a5, he plays queen a6. Yeah, I think knight a5 is almost forced here. He's up a pawn right now, but bad pawn or kingside structure, chances for me to play bishop g5 and attack pretty easily. I'm not complaining about my position. Okay. His queen has to be a little bit careful of getting trapped, but I think he's probably okay. So we're gonna take and play bishop g5. Like I said, I want to get rid of this bishop on c1, play knight f4, and then have some checkmate ideas. Also, his queen side is not developed. His knight hasn't moved, bishop hasn't moved. Not the best situation for him. Shame I didn't play the Yoko Piana. I could have played it. I just want to try something different out. So if he takes the bishop, I'm taking back and then playing knight f4, like 100% guaranteed. If he doesn't take... Okay, so this is actually a tactical error by him. So I go ahead and grab the bishop. When he takes back, then I have queen g5. Okay, and I think he recognizes it. If he takes back with the rook, I have queen g5 forking the king, and the rook that would be on c1. So I'm picking up a piece here. And I'm probably going to checkmate pretty soon anyways. So let's analyze it here. Flip the board. So the opening, I could have played bishop c5. I know, I could have played it. Sometimes they play c3 and d4, and black is still fine. He does stuff like knight f6. This kind of stuff is still perfectly fine for black. I figured I'd try something a little bit offbeat. D6. My position's fairly passive, but it's not terrible by any means. I played bishop g4, he played c3, take, knight h5. Queen b3 is a good move. Here, though, after bishop g5, he should play like queen f1. Maybe he needs to get his queen over here for defense. I was going to take, check, move, knight f4. Something like this, probably. And I'm down a pawn, but my position's not bad. I'm going to play f5 and then bring this rook into the game. And white will be under a lot of pressure, but it's still maintainable, is the idea. That's what he should have gone for. Plus, he's up a pawn, so I guess any endgame is kind of okay for him. Okay, so we'll move on to another.